is purple.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go. And welcome to another episode of Waiz Dat, the podcast where we talk about, what do we talk about? We talk about book reviews, we talk about movies, we have our conspiracies, anything really that we just feel to talk about because nobody is stopping us. They are correcting us, but nobody is stopping us.
Not correcting us in the way that you think that maybe
Yeah.
what we're saying wrong, but helping us
enhance it.
improve and enhance. Yes.
Yeah, so they tell us we can go along with our idea, but how to make it a little bit better for your viewing pleasure, all 5 of you who watch every week.
We appreciate the input as to how to improve on this.
Yes.
Thanks, Peter.
Right? So today, before we go into our little first topic, we decided, because we got a little bit better if you watched the last episode with our little rambles and derailments, that we put it in a different section, right? So now we decide to level up and see if we can have our conversation while also playing Ludo. So I saw this dinosaur Ludo in the bookstore last weekend, in a bookstore. And as I saw it, I immediately picked it up because I was like, I don't care how much this is, I'm going to buy this. So I just picked it up and I proceeded to the cashier. So we are going to play this Ludo while we talk about our topics today, right?
Sashta is testing how well we can walk and chew chewing gum at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
So we might probably have to, and when I say we, Safaa will have to probably do a lot of editing, a lot of cutting in this episode. So while Safaa rolls to see,
I get to roll first to see who rolls first.
Yes.
Nah,
because
no. As the elder amongst us, I let the young child roll first to see who will roll first.
All right.
And then later, don't roll and then start to move your thing, eh?
No, we have to roll to see who goes first.
Okay.
All right, so Safaa goes first. But remember to leave
Sashta. I can slip where I want. All right. What is wrong with me showing you? I got the 5. 5, Sashta. Stop that, I'll have to put in all kind of. You looking like you fritzing out. So in addition to the Waiz Dat, the Waiz Dat, I'll end up having to put like the rebooting and all kind of thing. All right.
So remember, you need 6 to get out, right? Every time a person have to get out, you need to get 6, right? So while
like that?
Yeah. So while we're playing, while we're rolling, you could head us into our conspiracy corner. Ooh, reflexes.
Okay, but if it roll off the table, it counts as a turn.
Right, so you can tell us about, you can carry us into conspiracy corner. So I got a 6. Ooh, I got a next 6. I got 4. So I can let this other person. Yeah. Right, so can you tell us about our conspiracy today?
Okay, so my conspiracy is about the moon landing, right? In a short little nutshell, it's about the moon landing. And it stems from why I'm skeptical about whether the United States was actually able to land on the moon and have a man walk on the moon, is because I don't know if you know, was his name Roaring Lion? Was Roaring Lion?
Yes, his name is a song, yeah.
So if you don't know Roaring Lion song, ooh, I got my 6, King Liar, right? Then you kind of wouldn't understand, but you should go check out the song. Here and then 1, right? Okay, so I get 2 out and 1 to move forward. So according to the song, right? And I love it for that, right? Liar the lion. If it is Liar the lion, try to tell you that show me the corner where the man pass and I go make him a suit that the level of lion, then you just can't believe them. You can't believe them at all. So the United States is the same people that in 62, when one of their ships was leaving Cuba, they ended up bombing the ship because they wanted to make it seem like Cuba had ended up attacking them for them to be able to war with them. So what had ended up happening, take one out from a day with my 6 and move 9, move it to 1, 2. Right.
Just know if I get 2, I could know the bridge there. Okay.
Yeah,
lucky.
you can send
You're
me.
lucky.
She trying to send me home on
You're
my
lucky.
front door.
Because that's a space now.
Yeah,
But
it's
you're
a space
lucky.
you could sit down with me in. But you can't send me back home.
Oh, we didn't. That's true. We didn't discuss the home rules. So.
Yeah,
Okay, but usually in Ludo, if you hit this spot, if you land on the spot,
so you land on the spot, the 2 of them getting sent
no,
home now?
because both of them there is like a bridge, so I can't pass.
You can't. You need to get. You
You
can't
need to
pass me
move.
at all.
Yeah, I can't move.
Oh, you stuck? Oh, look at that.
That's why I was moving this one because I didn't want to go ahead of you. But anyway, as you were saying,
Look at that. Right. So in 62, so the US and and Russia have their Cold War going, right? And they fighting to the US not into communism and anywhere that's spreading communism, which is in places like Vietnam, Korea, all these places they're not interested in, and China, they're not interested in communism spreading. It was also spreading in the Caribbean as well and South America. So they're trying to curb that. Everybody following the space race between the US and Russia. And at this point in time, Russia has already sent a man to into space, right? They already had the first person to orbit Earth, and they were the ones to send a female into space first, right? So America just losing all kind of losing in Vietnam, they stalemate in Korea. Why the lion come and say, all of a sudden, right, they land on the moon and get a man to walk on the moon? Am I supposed to believe them? No. That's my problem. My problem is you are a known liar. And I can't believe a known liar do something that all the science and everything that you talk about, they didn't have the technology to do it. The only way they might have the technology to do it, and they would be hiding that, is if it really have some kind of alien spacecrafts that landed either before the Roswell incidents and that kind of thing,
Right.
and they've been here before, or they really did land Roswell time and the US reverse engineering the technology. Because in the same way, some people talking about how, because I was looking at, he calls it a movie, and he's been doing a lot of, I can't remember my name, I want to guess it's Brian something. Yes, so, not Brian, but Sibrel, right? Google Genius, find it. I don't know how. But I did somewhere in there, they should probably make me cut it, right? But I did say that, it didn't want to be Brian. But it's real close. It starts with a B, ends in a consonant, all right? And there's an A inside of there and an R inside of there. I think that is enough similarity between Bart and Brian for that. Okay, so Bart now had ended up interviewing all these people, and it's in his movie and it's on his website. And at the end of the day, I'm not gonna knock people on their website or whatever. It's up to you to go and check it out and see if it is you interested in believing it. For me, it's just a version of a story that's being told. So in his version of the story, people from NASA and their family and things had ended up getting silenced, right? So I don't know, right? Because then on the other side, you just hear the ones talking about how they worked with the whistleblowers who worked with the reverse engineering, the technology, the alien technology. So it can't be the two correct at the same time. Like, real strange for the two to be correct at the same time,
Right.
where they didn't have the technology to be able to go to the moon, but all them little orbs and things people just be posting all up on the TikTok and whatever where else they just be posting it, and all these different things they'll be seeing in the sky that are not drones, that they can't explain, that they come in to say is US technology. And who else saying that the US and all these other governments are sharing information and technology that is alien technology, that they're reverse engineering, right? So you can't have the alien technology that was able to get from wherever to here, you reverse engineering that, and you incapable of getting to the moon. If that is the case, then all these real idiots. All they can reverse engineer that technology quick enough to be able to, all they could do is fool people by flying around in the sky. Right? People could see all there on Earth. Oh, look, crikey, who's there up in the sky? All up in Australia, people be seeing all there, and all they want to lie and say all they're going to the moon because they didn't figure that part out as yet. Right? So are you all real stupid? Or is the two can be true at the same time? If the two true at the same time, you're real stupid, right? So that's my thing there. So as much as I don't think they actually went to the moon, right? Because if lion the lion, you'll never be able to trust what it is they're saying. I also don't know if the alien thing is real. Then they should have the technology. But if they did really get to the moon, right? And Bart and all these other people is the ones who spinning the wrong narrative, right? Like them is the propagandists, right?
Right.
Just say it. If they really did get to the moon, then it is possible that two other conspiracy theories could be true. One is that on the other side of the moon, well, it's not dark.
Well, it's called the dark side. It's
but we can't see it, right?
Right.
But on that side, there is stuff there that,
I think there might be.
Or the moon was created / engineered. So it's not like whichever version of the creation theory you believe in, if it was God, evolution, whatever, is not created in a natural way, right? Somebody make the moon and somehow, I'm not going into the details of that story, but the moon is not supposed to be this natural, what it is called that? Was the grounds for the moon not being actually real? And something.
That means, you know what I mean, Safaa?
What's that?
We had to go to space and check it out.
No, you're not going.
We had to go to the moon and check it
I
out.
am not. I told you no. There is too much you cannot control. I mean, like you need to know what you actually can control.
Yeah, no, I
right?
do that. I do that.
Yeah, it's not too much I can't control up in there.
So you wouldn't
next thing I did, and the alien actually just the face huggers come and snatch me. No, thank you. Keep your alien to yourself.
So you don't want to go to the moon and you don't want to go to Mars, right? But speaking of things that are flying about that we don't really know much about or just speculate, like sometimes when you say like, oh, it's a spaceship, but in Trinidad, because but a lot of people, I mean, I'm kind of superstitious as well, but a huge thing in our culture is folklore, right? Is a sukunya labeled as or can be labeled as an alien?
Okay. Now, your question, I'm going to interpret it a different way.
Right.
And I'm going to interpret it as, is a sukunya actually alien, not just to Trinidad, right? But alien to Earth.
Alien to Earth.
Meaning, however aliens travel and come to Earth, like some could come through wormhole or something with in a craft.
No, I mean it, and like how when people what of us are humans.
I understand what you mean.
I would like to are humans. But when we go to the next country, when we go to the next country, we are deemed as alien, right? Because they are like a in their country, in their thing, right?
Ma'am.
Excuse
me, Barbara Walters. All right. You can't be putting words in my mouth in this interview. You want me to say this, Sashta? Here's what because it occurred to me. It occurred to me. Suppose.
That was your 5 you had rolled?
No, that was your 5.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I had moved my 5. I had moved my 5, so it's your turn. Right, okay. Yes, Barbara. So at the end of the day, right? What I looking at your question as is suppose, and here's where you need to open up your mind for a little bit, right?
Right.
Suppose
Yeah.
Supunya and Dwen and whoever
Come from somewhere else?
come from somewhere else, like they're not native to
Just in here?
Earth, right?
That's not something I would disagree on, especially because of certain folklore stories too. They say like how the Laja Bless is like she is the devil's mistress and all these things. Even Isukunya as well. Some stories say that Isukunya is this
Some
evil
kind of deal that they make with the devil.
So if they have some kind of underworld thing, I don't dismiss that it could be some otherworldly entity.
Right, but then you looking at supernatural. But if we in the realm of sci-fi,
Right.
You have supernatural, but then you have alien.
Right.
Right? So we're not saying this is like jinn and zombie and devil
I
and things
understand what
that
you mean.
coming from another dimension that parallels and they are around us, but we don't see that. I talking about, right, that 16 and 17,000 years ago,
Right.
a spaceship crashed.
The land here and it just been
spaceship
here.
crash, right? Yes, and on the spaceship was their versions of races and species, right? So a Lagahu could be somebody pet,
Someone else.
right?
Okay.
That your pet that is be your man half the day. I just said, all right, in the day it is be a man and in the night it is be the kind of
The werewolf,
transformed
right.
wolf kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Dragging the chain out in the road in the night. So suppose all of them come in a spaceship together, and suppose all them little ball of fire people is like, oh, look what's that, and they're filming it and singing with their phone, right? Suppose when you see it and all it's thinking is drone and alien and whatever really is alien, and we seeing it in Trinidad, but when we see it we just call it Sukunya.
Now, as we've mentioned in almost every episode, I'm a gullible person. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take long to convince. It doesn't take much to convince me. So because that actually sounds pretty convincing. Like maybe that could be a possibility. Oh well, look at that. You break your bridge on your head.
See what's happening when you try to be nice to let the girl get a chance to let the girl get a chance to pass. Come on, I will catch you. I will catch you.
can't catch me.
I will catch you, and when I catch you, I go eat you.
That's a plausible thing that you said. Like that could, because we don't know, right? So anything at this point, anything is anything, right? However, so I did do, since we're even talking about the Lagahu and stuff, right? I did do my little research to like look into the origins of the Sukunya, like where it really came from, because we just know about it, but not really in depth, like how did it come about, right? I know that you had what you had told me about a little kind of origin story that Tony had told you.
Yeah, Tony had ended up explaining what a plausible explanation for, I'm gonna assume that is 5. You see, we're 6. Yeah, we've seen my maths before with the $1 and the $100 thing, so don't be expecting me to be the best maths person here. Right. So he was saying that when the law starts spreading about Sukunya and that kind of thing, it was when you didn't have street lights and the place wasn't all well lit. Movie fighting. The place wasn't all well lit. I need 1, 2, 3, 4 to get my first one home. And she went on roll 4. I will catch you and I will eat you. Continue. Right. So you would have these women or these older women who living by themselves, and they're living further or from the main village area where everybody else living, and it becomes very easy for when these women walking home with their little torch or their flambeau, people will look at that from in the distance and just see what looks like a ball of fire or a ball of light just looking like it's flying through the night. Because you just be seeing that in the darkness hovering through. So, and then there's an old woman, as you know, living up on that side. So when you see her with her little fire outside her by her house, right, or her walking with her little fire, you'd automatically assume that she turned into that ball of fire, and that is why she's that sukunya. So that's how old ladies get brand sukunya when all them was trying to do was light their way home. And most likely, them was living alone because their man had done dead already, right? He was doing all the hard labor.
Right.
Or he went for milk and never come back. I'm going to assume I was
Yeah, you was there.
right? Yeah, he went for milk and never come back. He's like, this lady just frustrates me way too much, boy.
So in my research that I did, I saw, so the supunya, well, obviously is a French word, right? So the whole idea of the supunya was two ideas from the Europeans who had come to Trinidad, as well as the enslaved Africans, because they would have been in close proximity. And those two stories, because they had two similar entities, it kind of mixed together, right? And apparently too, the supunya is also known as a lagaroo because which is close to lagaroo, right? From or loup-garou that you know from French, because of how it shifts its shape, yeah, right? Its form. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they would also call it like be in the bracket, but that makes sense too because it's like a shapeshifter, right? So it has African and European links, and it could be named Sukunya because it sounds like succubus, that the Europeans would have had their vampire-like folklore, right? Their stories about vampires, and closely with Africans who had a vampire tradition, right? Also changed into a creature who would suck the blood of people. And there are rumors that they would live in rural areas because they don't like much light. So that's why you would find them, or stories, a lot more stories in rural villages, right? So this information that I found too, it was on a YouTube channel called Trinidad Stories, and it was the historical, it's like a historical little session, and it was Trinidad and Tobago Folklore Part 5, because every part had like different folklore characters. Well, I don't say characters, but that we know of, right?
People, folklore, people.
Yeah. That's not a character. I was trying to find the word.
They're real?
Yeah, right? So, it would be usually, like you mentioned, old women who would be. So, this was something that was interesting.
She didn't even finish this sentence, right? Wow. I thought I alone just had to deal with that when I go into this thing.
So, this was really interesting because part of the video was, because the video was different people talking, right? So, like, different historians and then, like, farmers and just all different types of people who would have had, like, talking about the supunya, right? And one of the people said this so that I thought was really, I was like, this makes sense. I know how folklore things come about, right?
You're going to say, wait,
I'm going to say no.
Okay. So we get set up to what they're going to say. I thought I missed it.
Sorry. But the guy was saying that how it's usually an old woman, right? They would call us sukunya, right? And it's usually women who would be like kind of suffering from some kind of illness due to old age or Alzheimer's or something like that. Or a woman whose husband would have died, like you mentioned, right? But because her husband died and she would have inherited the land and the properties and everything, right? And in that kind of community of seeing an older woman who have these things and they kind of upset or vex her, like she shouldn't have this, they would have the rumors and make up all these things about her.
Propaganda.
So that the village, they could get it and they could own whatever property that she would have inherited.
So they could seize it from her?
Yes. So they would be like, oh, well, she crazy, she need to go to St. Anne's or whatever, the madhouse or that kind of thing, right? So yeah, old women who would be suffering with Alzheimer's or sickness would be demonized and targeted. So when women outlive men, because women outlive men usually back in that
Because
time.
we don't stress them, so we must shorten their
So
lifespan.
when women outlive men and owned their own houses, people who didn't like this would label them sukunyas. The village would then inherit her land by doing all those things I mentioned, right? And in Mayaro, the majority of people believe that they are sukunyas, and there are even like a lot of stories of sukunya sightings in Mayaro, or like the oral tradition there, the storytelling would be about like stories that people would have encountered and seen
So
sukunyas in Mayaro. So we need to take a little drive to Mayaro and
No.
hear some stories.
No.
Not to see the sukunya, but to hear some stories.
No,
some live stories, some people.
I
I'll bring them on the podcast.
We on two different pages because I hear that and I was like, well, we could go right St. Anne's and meet some sukunya.
Oh, that's true. See, I just like to get in the car and go like a little puppy.
Oh,
Just like,
I'm standing head out the window.
Just like
No. Use my dog. I put you in my car, that window up. I'm not taking that chance for you to jump out the moving vehicle. That is a risk I am not interested in taking. She put the glass up. Put the glass up. If you try and put on no glass, no. Shani, she head out the window. No, why I saying that, right, is because it means that some of them women who lock up in St.
Do
Anne's
not really-
now,
they don't really
because
belong
the
there.
community or people nearby, their family or whoever, put them in St. Anne's, right, and claiming that is them women could be real sukunya. So you doubting the community and saying that the
I
community
doubting.
trying to steal the old lady. Suppose, on behalf of the human race, you see why I say I have personal with people, right? On behalf of the human race, okay, why is it we must be giving up land to aliens from outside of Earth? I'm not talking about the aliens from like a different country, right? We die where you wanted me to talk about initially, right? So I'm not looking at it like that, right?
Right.
But we here now, we in the majority, because we could tell based on what we could see, right? We've not all been collectively seeing gin to say, well, we should gin out numbers, right? Now, no statistics on how much gin per capita and none of that, right? We're just going based on humans, right? And we also can't compete with ants. Them outnumber, yeah, right? But they're not trying to be on, they're not on the whole world dominance nonsense that humans are, right? So, we've conquered Earth, right? We are the dominant species for now. Put the sukunya out, girl. Lock them up in St. Anne's. Alright? You can't let them sukunya be flying around in the area, sucking on people night and the next morning. You wake up, you have a big blue spot on your leg, and doctor telling you, oh, there is anemia. When you have anemia, you just end up getting random bruises. Or the cabinet you walk into, alright? Or the door frame that you end up walking into because you didn't take the one extra step, right? No, them bruises is not from anemia and them kind of thing. They're from the sukunya coming in night and suck on you, alright? And them sukunya, not from Earth. Put them out. Put them out.
So, to come out of her skin is yours, right? To come out of her skin, she has to go to a graveyard at 12 on a night where there is no moon, and with a black penny, dig out the liver of a freshly buried corpse. Did you know that before?
Yes, when we were doing a little...
Right, you had shown me.
Shown a little sukunya thing, yeah.
So, with that, she makes an oil from it, and the use of this oil helps her to emerge from her skin and turn into a ball of fire. Some people say that the sukunya is an old haggard woman by day. Others say she's a beautiful woman who leads men astray. Others suggest that she attacks only those who have done evil. Who had done evil to others. And they say that a woman can become a sukunya if she gets bitten by a sukunya, or if she gets bitten, she can become very weak and die. So those are some other theories that talk about the sukunya, like, if you get bite by a sukunya, you can either turn into one or you just get very weak, right? Another theory says she charms her way
Hold
into
on,
people's
pause, Sashta.
houses.
Pause, look. Count, this is my purple piece.
Right?
And this says 5.
5, right?
1, 2, 3, 4. Come! Come!
Because she blocked her hair.
That is
She
okay.
blocked her hair, couldn't pass, right?
That is okay. You send me home, right?
Yeah.
So I was the first person to get sent,
Sorry.
to send somebody home, right?
Right.
To get beat, to get knocked
Right.
back out of me.
That's fine. Yes. So,
Then
yeah,
we'll
she
go up
says
the
that
corridor
she
before-
charms her way into people's houses and attacks them. Consistent. So the consistent thing in the story, though, is that salt affects her, as well as her compulsion to count rice grains. So that's at least one thing that's always been
Consistent, regardless of any version. Yeah.
right. So we know it's common
Why?
knowledge.
Why salt? You know, so it's all the plan. I'm gonna tell you.
Right.
Throw salt
Salt.
when people blight and all the different kind of things.
Yeah.
Right? Why salt?
Because so one of my friends, he actually told me this a while back about the whole thing with salt and why salt is used for evil, or well, more so for protection, right? Because long ago too, apparently there are just these properties in salt that ward off evil or give protection. He had given this whole thing when we were spoken about it, because I actually did ask him. I was like, why salt? Because there was something else he was telling me about, and it mentioned salt, and I was like, but what is so like precious and great about salt, right? 1, 2, 3. Well, you're right there at home, so. And yes, just something in the properties of it just helps. You can't go no way. Hope I don't get too. Oh, right. But yeah, the salt has these. I'll ask him again, and
What is that?
I'll
1,
Wow.
2.
She have 2
Look,
men inside.
2 is home.
You know why though? She block up everywhere. That's why I halfway to home, right? I can't go nowhere. What
He
this
was
one?
here.
There are also novels that feature the Supunya. One of them is called Greyborn Rising by Derry Sandy, and The Whisperer's Warning, which is apparently an award-winning novel by Danielle Y.C. McLean.
These are local.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes. Oh no. Oh no. It's all right home again. And the Sukunya legend is known in other Caribbean countries such as Dominica, St. Lucia, Haiti, and Suriname. So again, more French colonized. So while doing my little Sukunya research, right? Apparently, on January 6th, this artist called King Daddy Yod, he produced a song. Well, he didn't produce, he sang this song called Sukunya, right? And the Sukunya is spelled SoukouGnan, because that was like originally how the French spelled it in the French West Indies. SoukouGnan, right? And it was released on January 6th, 2026. So this song is in French. So I was like, well, I didn't know this song was in French, right? So I looked for this song to play it, to listen, to hear like what it's about, because apparently he's singing about the Sukunya, right? Then I found out it's in French. And there were like no subtitles. Well, the subtitles that were coming up on the screen were in French, but there was like no translation, no English or anything. So for me to even figure out what this guy was saying on the timestamp timeline thing, I had to click on that. When that come up, kind of pause that, copy that, and throw that into Google Translate to kind of figure out what it says, right? Also, when live, playing it for a few seconds, I was like, oh no, I don't know what he's saying. Let me not play. Next thing I invoke a Sukunya or something. So I did kind of, because I don't know what he's saying, and I'm not being like,
no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I don't know what you're saying, and it sounds a little bit ignorant, but yeah, I was like, I don't know, I don't, because I could be playing anything, right? And it's just some random thing from the internet, so it had like 10 views. So I had taken any chances, right? So I kind of looked into the lyrics to see kind of what he was talking about. And if anybody could speak French or listen to translate French, you could find the video, you could listen to the song and maybe tell us in
Hold
some
on.
form or way.
Be warned. If the song invoca Supunya, you did so on your own doing, right? We warn you. She says she don't know what he's saying
Yeah.
and she didn't play it properly to be able to know if it's invoked as she fair. So if it
Yeah.
really did invoke something,
But
we
I
warn you. If it doesn't, translation
But I did
please.
no, because it just say about something with the. It did mention
How?
like this woman who, you know what, all your figures out, right? Because Google Translate really didn't do that great job. And on top of that too, I did have like a really weird kind of scary dream, and the dream was like the entire night. Like, you know how sometimes when you dream, you can move your foot. You know, sometimes when you dream, like you have multiple dreams in one night.
Yes.
That was like one whole long dream. I had like that lasted the entire night, and it was real. Yeah, so I was like, well, clearly it's my subconscious, because I was like, oh, I hope I don't invoke a Sukunya, and probably, but yeah. Oh no, she coming for now. She coming
I guess
for
I'll
now.
go
She coming
catch
for now.
her.
She coming for now. Right?
Oh, wow, no, she can't block now.
So that's my little Sukunya story. But yeah, if y'all want to check out the song, the name of the artist is King Daddy Yard, and the song is called Sukunya.
Any spelling?
It will be here, right? It is. You can check it out, right? But let's move on to our other topic, which is still close to our culture. We're gonna talk about, last week we talked about the dragon mask, and I forgot to mention this fun little thing, because you had asked me about, you know, if the dragons are evil and stuff like that.
Yes,
last
and
time.
you say that is where that comes in, like, and you said
we
we
reached
will
there,
get to that.
and then we never reached there, right?
Yeah, I was wondering
So-
how that plot dropped.
According to Brian Honore, and he was a famous local mask player who was known for his Midnight Rubber mask. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2005. He had said that the dragon dance. So in Chinese culture too, like, you know, there's no really good or evil, right? They can be seen as whatever people mean it to be, but it's not really exactly good or evil, right? But so according to Brian Honore, the dragon dance is known as the crossing of the water, and that occurs when the dragon's path is blocked by water in drains or gutters. Here the dragon exposes his rage and his cowardice. He rages at his tormentors, which are the imps in the band, but he lives in mortal fear of water, since the water may be holy, and he finally crosses the water-filled drain by lying on his back in supplication to the true living God in the heavens and flipping over the drain. So part of the mass really too is where they will like throw water. If they come across water, they could kind of like beat up and be afraid of like crossing the water in case the water is holy. And then they could just kind of like use the imps as well, or the other characters, to kind of like cross over the water. So that's yeah. But anyway, since we talked about that character, this week we're gonna talk about the Pierrot.
Oh! Now it makes sense. I don't know which one she was gonna talk about. It makes sense why she calls up what the Pierrot. You'll find out.
Right? So the Pierrot is actually one of my favorite Carnival characters, because obviously he's like this literary scholar and all that, right? So if you don't know, the Pierrot has like a little dictionary, and they would spell words, but not in the way that you would anticipate them to. They would always spell it in the version of a story where the words will make sense. So the Pierrot dresses up in colorful clothing, kind of like colorful rags. They usually have a crocus bag.
We have a version, it's a crocus
with
bag.
a crocus bag with the rags, and they would even have like little boxes with like pebbles and stuff attached, so it can kind of jiggle, because the Pierrot is a descendant from another character called like it's a Pierrot or some other version, where it was more like the jester from the culture. It was a much more intelligent, high,
Like a minstrel?
cultured.
No?
But it was a more.
I just throwing random words
It
out
was
here
a
at this
more
point.
cultured one, right? A more educated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was a more educated character
Mm-hmm.
that would provide the entertainment and all of that. So the Peregrinaad was now the kind of budget lower version. So that's why too they would kind of, you could do it over, kind of like make up the stories of how things are to be properly spelled because they seen it is how they see it, which makes sense, right? Oh, no.
This is so. I will not use the poor example of the chicken in the car, the car go. That's how you spell Chicago. I wouldn't use that example to let you know. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So talking about another character that does speech is the Midnight Robber. But the Midnight Robber more does the whole
bad man speech.
Yeah, like I so bad, I do all these different things. And he kind of also touches on, because he's so big and bad, kind of like scares people into doing the right thing. So there are speeches that the Midnight Robber gives to, you know, make a way of like bullying or saving the environment because, you know, they're so cool, they're so bad, like you need to listen to them. So because it's Safaa and I, of course, we had to do a little reenactment, not even a little reenactment, but one of us, and you get 2 seconds to guess who's the person who dressed up. But if it is that you did follow us on social media, you'd have seen the behind the scenes content, right? Where I dressed as a Peregrinaad and Safaa gave me 2 words to spell. So if y'all want words to do a little spelling, we could give all a few words and do a little, we could go home. I just need to know.
So where we at, right, is I need to roll 1
and I need to roll 2.
She needs to roll 2.
Right?
Stop blighting my hair, you know.
So we can actually put a word for y'all in the comments and y'all could give a little, in the description, we'll give a word and y'all could even send it.
We could give the word after and I know what word we could give.
Okay. Well, we'll also put it in the description too. So y'all can send us your spelling of it. But with that being said, please enjoy my little rendition of being a Peregrinaad. Peregrinaad is my name and rhyming is my game. Lyrical skills on the highest par. You hearing these bars? Any word you give me to spell, I can easily storytell. So give me a suggestion and I'll come up with my own definition.
President.
President, you say? Okay. There once was a man named Pre living in a small village in Lapai. Now, Pre was a prim and proper man and obsessed with his car. He always washing it and making sure it clean. Every time you see the car, it pristine. One day, Pre driving down the road after the daily washing is bratang he hear. Some other person hit him in here. Pre get out the car to check where get hit. Man, when Pre see dent all over the bumper, he lost it. You like that one? I have more, you know. Rhymes and stories I have for so. Give me one more. It look like you have a next one in store.
Covicious.
Covicious. All right. This next story is about blight. Joe used to work real hard, but just so he started to get sick. Then he lost his walk and things went downhill real quick. Joe felt something was wrong. Maybe someone do a kind of simmy-dimmy to knock him down. He went to a witch doctor, a priest, and imam. Nothing helping, till one of his friends tell him to go and check Vin. Vin was a pundit and tell him he going through a gra. Vin explained it was a time of his life where negative forces are affecting him. Joe get worried, but Vin tell him what to do that would ease it up. Joe was skeptical, but he decided to do it if the gra go stop. He found it was sounding a bit fictitious. But before Joe leave, Vin warned him to make sure and follow through, because that gra vicious. Well, that's the day. I have nothing else really to say. But if you want to hear some people chat, listen to this podcast called Waiz Dat.
Well, I hope you like Sashta's Pierrot Grenade. And to the word that we're going to suggest, and big up to Sashta mommy, who actually,
Found the real word.
found the one she found was a real one.
The one she told me is a real one, yeah.
Uh-huh.
No. She told me a wrong word, but then I found the right word.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happened was
What's on mine?
yours.
Okay.
What happened was she told you, tell them.
So she told me another
While I
word.
roll one.
So she told me another.
No, why?
If I get two.
Look at
Go on to
here.
roll.
You can roll, right? You can roll.
home now.
After I take my fourth piece home. And so the first champion of the Ludo between Safaa and Sashta ever was the I. Now say it, Sashta. Say it. We did not rehearse it, nor did I tell you what to say in any kind of way. But say it.
No.
Say it, Toby. Say it, Toby. You didn't see it. Yeah? You didn't see Roots.
A long time ago.
Go watch Roots. Say it, Toby. Alright, you stood in the Holly Tanner. Alright, beat me in something. Alright, you said, tell me, say Toby. Say Toby. And I used to be like, no. And I will just keep playing. I was like, I'm not saying Toby,
I
cut
just
my
want to keep
toes.
rolling
Cut
until I
my
get
toes.
two, right?
Let me see how much rolls it take for you to say it.
So anyway, my mom told me this word because she was like, yeah, her mom used to use that word as well, right?
And what was the one
So-
she gave you?
It was close. It was more like Covicious. Oh, I get it.
On her fifth roll. On her fifth roll.
Right.
After I already home. Alright.
So she gave me another word,
Mhm.
and then I just decided to look it up because I think she had said Covicious.
She was starting with
Or it was something like that, right? And then I told Safaa, I was like, hey, look, my mom told me the word because she's like, her mom used to use the word. So both of your mothers just giving wrong
Wasn't my
information.
mother. I said my mother wasn't
Well,
that dotish.
So then when I Googled it, I found the correct word, which is Covicious. Or Covicious.
So,
We can put it, right?
the
We can put
word,
it.
if you want to try spelling a
Yes.
word, is Covicious.
Yes. But,
I don't use it in a sentence, honey.
yeah, or you can break it up, be
No,
creative.
like in regular speech.
Or in your everyday.
Don't be going around walking around telling people, oh, you're so covetous. Don't make it a thing. All right? No, Gretchen. Don't. Fetch is not going to happen.
You never know.
No, Gretchen. No, Gretchen.
But you could have bring it back then. But you would have like bring this word into
What,
being
gravicious?
a popular word. Like the real word.
Gravicious or covetous? I'll be the one who start back people from saying covetous.
Anyone.
No to the two. All right? I don't need when I'm walking out there, people the same thing, saying the same thing I saying all the time. All right? We already have the common shared language. All right? When I start to add in my code, or they want to be cracking my code and using it too. No. Like the Gen Z, you all need to leave me with my words, right? Because I do not try to use those words in intellectual conversations or in regular conversations with people where there's room for them to be confused. I'll be dropping that thing with Sashta and she's understand what's going on because she on the same level that why we just be like you, me in between, right?
So yeah, make sure and try to spell the word, be creative, and let us know what your stories will be for the word. Which one is that? Covicious.
The real version of
Yeah.
gravicious.
Yeah, the real one. So it will come up on the screen and it will be in the description, right? And you know. So I'm Sashta.
I'm Safaa. What's that?
I'm saying bye. Okay, so if it is while watching this episode and the one before, you noticed a little train thing that's in cut for derailment. Now, if you missed it, you can just go back, right? But you would see that some things and the transitions that we would have cut certain things out, right? So if you go back into the video and at the top there, you click on the cut for time derailment, it will lead you to that derailment and whatever little story we got carried away with. You click on that and watch that specific one. So you would see it pop up a few times in this episode and the last one. Now, rather than you all go through the video to find all the derailments, on this side, there's the playlist of all the derailments. Rather than you click back and watch one by one videos, all of them on this side. Now, how do you get to the derailment link? If you're using the YouTube app on the TV, just use the up button on the remote and click on it. If you're using the browser, YouTube on the browser, move the mouse very carefully, very slowly, and you can click on that link that will carry you specifically to that video. Or like I said, just click on this side here and you get to see all of our funny stories and anecdotes and all of our randomness. Now, on this side, we re-uploaded episode 3, which is called Dinos and Dragons, Oh My. And you'll be like, but you already have an episode 3. Why would you re-upload it? So what Safaa did was she was trying to be all artistic like Snyder. So she did her own little Snyder cut where she cut out all the derailments and we have a different kind of flow and a different kind of story. So if you are interested in rewatching that episode to get a different kind of vibe, you can click on this side right here. Also, why are we using a swatter and not like a fly zapper? Or mosquito zapper?
Nah, mosquito zapper, let's go zap, zap, zap. The dogs don't like that.